my colleague Al-Mustafa, of course, will be speaking about the situation in Syria and all of his engagement with the government and with the international community, their NGOs. But allow me just to give some idea about the Northeast, Northwest, and the humanitarian situation there and the efforts that we are trying to do. Of course, I just want to state from the very beginning that both Mr. Al-Mustafa and myself, we complement each other in not just in this crisis, but in the entire whole of Syria approach and the needs of the Syrian people. Let me start first with the Northeast. Yes, we do have some casualties, and of course there is destruction in the Northeast, but luckily it's not as much as we have seen in the rest of the country. Of course, to us, losing one life is too much. We have lost lives, but if we compare numbers, of course it's less. But we do feel with the people there, and we're trying everything we can to work with the de facto authorities to reach the people that are there. For the Northwest, of course, the situation is much more complex. Of course, there are many casualties, between a number of people injured. What we have been unable since the earthquake started, since the beginning of the earthquake, of course, the road leading from Gaziantep to the border to the transshipment point was damaged, of course, and that road was closed, so we couldn't send any relief items, and we were looking for alternative routes. Luckily, today we're hearing that the road is opening. We do have a possibility, hopefully, to access the border. We're working with our Turkish counterparts to also give us all the support. But I think we have a glimpse of hope there that the road is accessible and we can reach the people. The UN agencies, the NGOs, the Syrian NGOs are of course ready to deploy humanitarian aid. And as I said, we are hoping that tomorrow we will be able to deliver something and cross the border. Of course, in addition to that, in addition to the cross-border, we are trying to complement that with the cross-line mission, and I will leave that to my colleague Al-Mustafa to talk more about it. But as we always say, we see ourselves, our objective is to reach the people. For us, cross-border and cross-line are just modalities complementing each other. The most important thing that we reach people in this time, people who are desperate for help in this very difficult situation. We're seeing images on TV, children stranded in very harsh, cold winter, snowing. It's really heartbreaking. I'm going to stop here and pass it to my colleague Al-Mustafa, of course, to speak about the other part of the humanitarian work he is leading, and then I'm happy also to complement and to answer any questions. Al-Mustafa, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me just, first, let me convey or present my condolences and sympathies to all the people who lost a life, a relative, whether in Turkey or in Syria. This is a tragedy. This is a big catastrophe, if you want. Just the total number of the people affected now is 10.9 million, and I'm talking about all the borders within Syria, all the people of Syria. 10.9 million affected by this terrible earthquake. But before the terrible earthquake, we have, as mentioned by Hadi, we had 12 years of crisis and a huge humanitarian crisis. We had 15.3 million people in need. We have 6 million or 4 million needing humanitarian assistance, basic humanitarian assistance. So it's a crisis on top of a crisis. How deep is the crisis? I think we have seen the images and the videos and the YouTube from Turkey, but we have seen them also from Syria, in Halab, in Latakia, in also from all the 5 governorates that are affected here in Syria. There are actually 5 governorates affected. The governorates of Hama, that of Latakia, Idlib, Halab, Tartus, and this covers Idlib, this covers Afrin, this covers the whole of that region, and that's around 10 million people, and the 10 million actually goes even beyond. But when you look at the situation and what happened, we have people also affected in Deir ez-Zor and in Raqqa. Their houses, their units have suffered also, and many of them are not ready to stay there. Many are not ready to go back to their houses, and this is happening also in Halab, happening in Afrin, in Idlib, in Latakia, in all those places. Just to give you an example, in Aleppo, we have 30,000 people who are now living in shelters. These are schools and mosques, and those are the lucky ones. But we know from a very quick and dirty assessment in Halab, done with whatever means we have, that 1/3 of the houses or the buildings have been affected. If you count that, and that's equivalent to some 20,000 houses, make just 5 persons per family, that's 100,000. That means that we have 70,000 who are not as lucky as the 30,000 sitting in shelters, who are struggling with the cold. And just this morning, even here in Damascus, we had snow. There, they have snow, they have freezing cold weather, and they're living in terrible situation. I think that is applied also to the northwest. It's applied to Afrin, and even maybe worse. But what we have here, we have a situation where we have already a very vulnerable situation. People already vulnerable, not capable of taking care of themselves, or just trying to get out of it. And all of a sudden comes this, and all the achievements we had before. Anybody who had that small business now has lost that small business. Anybody who could go to school cannot go to school. Women who could go to protection centers cannot go to protection centers. So it's a terrible situation where even the 15.3 million people that were in need here in Syria, now we have to revise that number. And maybe this time this disaster will help us do things better. I just mentioned those figures, but think also of the roads, infrastructure. Already the area suffered from very poor infrastructure because of the crisis, poor roads, water, electricity, fuel, name it. And now we have this situation, and we are struggling with it. It does affect our humanitarian work here. I'm aware of reservoirs of water who either collapse or are in the risk of collapsing. Those tanks of water that are elevated, many, if not the majority, need repair or replacement. So just this is the suffering of the people. And I think we need to do something about it. What we are doing, if you want, the UN and its partners actually started working from the first hour of the disaster, from the first hour of this, because we had our own stocks of food, non-food items, hygiene kits, dignity kits, some medical. They were available there at the border with at the Samarda, and some were already pre-positioned. Not that we expected this disaster to happen, but they were pre-positioned there, and we have been using these stocks now to address the needs, and these stocks are being depleted. That means if we are using these stocks, and we are also diverting stocks from other areas in the country to the area affected now, that means that the people who needed and still need that are now being deprived of that. So I'm saying this to say that we didn't stay waiting. We started working, and I hope, as Hadi Muhannad just mentioned, that what we are here for, we are talking about a humanitarian need. We are talking about people who need that support now, and whatever we can do, we have to do it together, driven by the humanitarian needs. And we just hope that the political considerations and so on will get off the way and let us do our work.
Very much. I will now open the floor for questions. Please, go ahead.
Thank you for your briefing. Ghazal Vaisi with Independent. My question is for you about, we've been hearing reports that countries like Greece and Israel that traditionally aren't politically close with Turkey are actually sending aid. I wanted to ask you in practicality, on the ground, do you actually see this help and aid from other countries like Greece and Israel? Thank you.
Can you please unmute yourself? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
It's good now. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Muhannad, you want me to take it or you take it? But anyway, I start and Muhannad will add. Yes, I have received calls. I'm aware of the offer by Greece. I received calls from other areas, including Jordan, including some private sites in Thailand. And I'm sure there are other people who are there to help and want to help. What I can tell you is that the government said, when we met the Minister of Foreign Affairs the first day, he said that we are open to all assistance, to all help, and we will facilitate not only the incoming of the help, whether it's physical or money or whatever, our people coming to help with rescue and so on, and they would then facilitate that. That's all I can say. There is a mechanism. Whoever approaches us, we are trying to help in coordinating that. I don't know whether it answers the question, but I have the feeling I missed something.
I'll try my question.
Mr. Hadi, do you want to add? No, Michelle, please.
I'm fine to add if you like. Basically, our humanitarian work is not political. We are governed by the humanitarian principles, and we are people-focused. We're not politics-focused. And I want to remind here everybody, including myself, that basically the first responsibility of the welfare and well-being of the people are the host government. And we, as the United Nations and the international community, are helping people by request of the government. So it's for the government to take those political decisions. For us, we totally depoliticize our work. Al-Mustafa and myself, our main focus, and every colleague, including our colleagues in the NGO, international and local NGOs, we're focused on the people, on the needs of the women and the children, and we leave the politics totally aside. So we're happy to work wherever the aid comes from, because we do not politicize it, provided that the host governments are, they understand it, and they do their own arrangement around it. So thank you.
Thank you. Michelle, please.
Thank you. Thanks so much for the briefing. Michelle Nichols from Reuters. A couple of practical questions. First of all, on northwest Syria, you spoke about the road from Gaziantep to the transshipment hub. What about the road from the transshipment hub into Syria? Is it passable? Is it usable? If you get the aid to the transshipment hub, can you then just restart the operation as normal? I know the UN won't be doing this, but are you aware of any other aid groups using the Bab al-Salam border crossing, which the UN used to use before it was shut down? Is anyone using that? Is the UN coordinating with the White Helmets in northwest Syria, who seem to be leading some of the search and rescue efforts there? And then just with regard to the cross-line deliveries, is there any way of scaling, can that be scaled up to meet the needs effectively in northwest Syria? What have been some of the traditional challenges that you've faced with those cross-line deliveries? If you could just give us a reminder of that, and are you hoping to overcome those challenges now during this emergency situation? Thanks.
Mustafa, I'm happy to start, and then I'll pass it to you if you don't mind to complement. Thanks. On your first question about the road, of course there are, as you said, there are two segments, there are two legs to that. As I said earlier, the first part, which is on the Turkish side, we're hoping that this is now is usable. The second part, the information we're getting that it's also probably we can use it. Mind you, information is hard to verify, and we're working with all of our partners to make sure that the information we get is as accurate. But what I want to tell you for sure is that our trucks are ready. We already have trucks at the border. We have trucks being loaded. So the willingness is there. We're just waiting for the ability of the logistics and the access to do it. We're working through our partners. We're trying to verify as much information as we can. We have the logistics cluster, which is with all the expertise that they have, trying to verify to make sure that the operation is as smooth as possible. We're using Bab al-Hawa. We're not using Bab al-Salam. I think others are using it. On the issue of coordination, we're coordinating as much as we can. Coordination usually is very important. At this critical time, coordination becomes much more important, yet much more complex, of course. But also we're doing our best to make sure that OCHA leads the coordination among all the international communities. We have the UN agencies, we have international NGOs, we have local Syrian NGOs who are doing outstanding work, and of course we have the White Helmet and many more people helping. So we're doing our best to make sure that the efforts are well coordinated. It's difficult, it's challenging, yet it's something that we are focused on, and we're trying our best. On the cross line and the cross border, of course, both my colleague Al-Mustafa and myself, we see cross line and cross border as two modalities complement each other. We would like to bring in the issue of efficiency and effectiveness here. The idea is to reach people in the fastest, cheapest, best way we can. Cross-line, as of today, does not replace cross-border. We're hoping that everybody puts the interest of the people first. We keep the politics aside. We move the authorities, all authorities, move away from the issue, from the politics, and put the interest of the people first. We would like to see the cross line escalated as much as possible. Also, the cross line, we have to do more cross line, but again, we would like to see them working together to reach the people at the time of need. I'll pass it back to my colleague Mustafa.
Can you please unmute yourself, Mr. Benlamlih? You're still muted, I'm sorry. We can't hear you.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Can you hear me now? Yes, okay. Okay. Thank you, Muhannad. And it's not about cross-line and cross-border. It's about the lives in that area and what can we do. I know that now they're struggling, and I know that the level of destruction is quite high, very high. I know that the people do not have what it needs for the rescue and the search and rescue. I know that the conditions of traveling are difficult, and I know also, and we all know that they're suffering from the snow and the freezing temperature. So for me, for us, for Muhannad, is how do we get there? And let me just say one thing. We already had within that area, we had pre-positioned supplies, food, WFP, UNFPA, others had supplies and food there. And UNHCR. And we started using these supplies and foods through the mechanisms and through the networks that we have there. And in addition to this, we are ready from here, from Halab, to increase our, it's not about presence, it's about reaching the people who need our help. So that's one thing. But from this side, we are working with all the governorates to try to find different entry points into the Northwest, in addition to Samarda. And we are working on it, because soon those supplies that we have there will be depleted. And we are bringing, WHO is bringing 2 planes from their warehouse in Dubai with medical supplies and medical equipment and emergency medical supplies. They will need to get there. And I just hope that once everybody keeps first the interest of the people. And we have seen them dying under the rubble, and some of them are still asking for help. I'm asking for all our partners, all of them, to facilitate and put whatever pressure, because this is for the people. We are ready with the supplies. We still have supplies to take us few days here to take to all these areas, and we are working on replenishing, and we still need more support. I just want to say something. The figures that are mentioned and have been mentioned are much, much less than the reality that we might end up with. This is not something simple. I heard people talking about 5, 7 times the figures we are talking about. I hope that the UNDAC mission that is here now will help us get to some serious assessments of the situation. It will take some time. And we have to address all those while we are struggling with many other complications. And I hope we can get the help of everybody to address these.
Thank you.
Just one quick follow-up. I know it's not a new issue, but can you just remind us of what the challenges have been to scaling up the cross-line deliveries? Why haven't you been able to scale up cross-line to meet the needs in a way that the cross-border operation meets those needs?
Okay, let me just answer this one. In the last 7 to 8 months, we have been able to reach through cross lines with 9 convoys. And we have been saying that we can do more. We can do 3, 4, 5 cross line more, because it's just the need has to be addressed. We can increase the size of the convoys from 14, 15 trucks to much higher. We are ready, and we are waiting for all our partners, all the people, to facilitate that.
Thank you.
So the government is the problem?
I did not say that. The government is not the problem, and the government now is not the problem either. The government is saying you will have all the facilitation, all the letters, we call something facilitation letters that they provide for us to move, and they delivered on this. They promised the first day, 2 hours later, we got all of these to get to Ladiqiyah, to get to the coastal area, and carry some quick and dirty assessments of the situation. And the government is saying, please go ahead.
Thank you. Please.
Hi, this is Dejishu with China Central Television. A couple of questions. First, you just mentioned that those support would last only a few days. So what are the things that most in need? And do you have what thing is the most in shortage for you to help this relief? And second, when you said that now the Syrian government is not a problem and they promise to facilitate you to go to help the humanitarian efforts. Do you have plans now so far to have cross-line humanitarian assistance in the short coming future? And more, yesterday, the Syrian permanent representative here said that some of the cargo ship, even they want to help Syria, cannot land in Syrian airport. Would that be a problem if we see the whole operation, the relief operation, that this might be a problem for the, the assistance or resources to allocate to Syria and to help people? Thank you.
Mustafa, go ahead.
Okay, should I take it or yeah?
You would like me to start, Mustafa?
I'll take it, then I'll give it back to you, Muhannad, if you
Yes,
want.
please. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Muhannad. Go ahead.
Please go ahead. I'll compliment.
Can you hear me? Yes. I'll start with the needs. The needs are, let's say, this is happening in a tropical area. You would need food, you would need shelter, you would need water, you would need generators because they're in the places where you might not have generators. You would need medical, you would need trauma kits, you would need support and you need protection. These are the ones. Add to this the fact that we are working in an environment that is already a vulnerable and suffering environment, where there is no fuel, the infrastructure is suffering and suffered, the houses where they're living are suffering, and there might be other collapses. In this case, for example, we will need again the rubble moving, we will need the search and rescue, and we will need, we are in a cold place, winter clothes, sheets, everything that you need when you are in a very difficult situation. This is what we need. And maybe there is some more, medical. And we need the facilitation of this work. We need to get there. This is an area, again, where you already have a conflict and various parties. We are working here and trying to coordinate at the level between Muhannad, myself, and Paul. We are also communicating regularly with headquarters and the various agencies. Just to give you an example, today, and this is a good question again. Today, we have Tadros from WHO. Martin will be here in 2 days. RC was here just recently. Some more are coming, I'm forgetting. And you know what? People are getting into, it's not aid fatigue now, it's assessment fatigue. We need action. We are doing, it will take us only a few days. I'll answer the question about how much it will go. I'll give you an example. WFP has enough to feed 100,000 people for 1 week. So to answer the question, we have 1 week. Okay, now the next question is whether those planes would land. I just can repeat what the government said is the facilitation and promised in some meetings, but that's a question that should go again to the government, and I don't have full answer to it. Muhannad?
Yes, thank you, Mustafa. I just want to really state the obvious that everybody knows about. Having the cross-line missions is something very complex. Even before the earthquake, it needed multiple levels of coordination between different parties, security, humanitarian, NGOs. So it's not a straightforward operation. Add to that, it's a military active zone where we had to operate in a military zone. So it's not easy. We try our best. We, as Al-Mustafa said, yes, the UN has the willingness and the ability to do this. But it's not just about the United Nations, it's about the other parties that we have to coordinate with. And we don't spare any efforts to increase the number of cross-line missions, but it's easier said than done. However, we're still hopeful with this situation that we can do more on cross-line and more on cross-border. Thank you.
Please, go ahead, you.
Thank you. I'm Gregory Sapornikov with TASS News Agency. Please, questions for both speakers. And so, what are the initial plans of the UN on the terms of how to proceed urgent life-saving assistance, especially given the situation of sanctions which were imposed against Syria? And please, the second one, please, could you please confirm the exact numbers of anti-cholera dose of vaccines which were provided to the territories which control under the government? Thank you.
Al-Mustafa, I think we lost New York.
No, I'm coming back. It's just I'm not in control of that one.
Oh, no.
There are three questions: life-saving assistance, sanctions, and cholera. The first one on life-saving assistance, you know, the UN can only offer what it can get. So it depends on what you can bring to us and how you can help. Those are things that we have to ask, and we are trying to get to your attention the needs, and definitely the heavy equipment for search and rescue is needed. It will also be needed after 72 hours when we stop the search and rescue for the rubble moving and clearance. You know that here it's a situation where fuel is missing, and we need to do something immediately about it before we get to the sanctions and all the stuff. We do not have enough pieces of equipment to replace or to repair some of the equipment like ambulances and trucks and so on that we have. There is a lot that is needed. We are trying to get you those needs and whatever help you can offer. And I really, the media people are to help us here. The media people have to bring the needs to the right people and make some noise about it so that we solve it. We cannot do it by ourselves. You are our partners. Sanctions, it's something, what I can say is now, these are the things that we have. The situation, we need generators. We need to replace and repair water pumps. We need to make sure that there is security. We need to make sure that we can move quickly and move to provide the assistance. Whoever is listening, please help us to get moving on this, and we'll think later about the wider question of the sanctions you have mentioned. On the cholera, what I know, I think, is that we got 2 million vaccines for the northeast and the government's of Syria controlled areas. And I think we are getting and got already some 1.6 million shots also for the northwest. This is now, and this is before the earthquake. And now, because of the earthquake, and because now people are again crowding in some places and their sources of water are again being affected. I heard this is happening in Gaziantep and other places. It is also happening in Halab and in Ladiqiyah, at least. So we will be facing this. Water, sanitation, again crisis, and crowded areas. So I guess we might see a resurgence that we started controlling thanks to your support. We might see a resurgence again of cholera in those places, and we need more. We need more for everybody. Everybody. Thank you.
Alan, please.
Thank you so much for doing this briefing. I have a question for both of you, if I may. Yesterday, we've heard that after the assessment on the ground being made, the UN may launch the urgent appeal UN flash appeal. I wonder if this appeal would be conducted for both. Will it be the joint appeal for Turkey and Syria, or separately, one for Syria and one for Turkey? And the second question, if I may, is regarding the donor pledge conference. Are there any plans? Is the UN planning any donor pledge conference, to hold any donor pledge conference for Syria? Thank you.
Mustafa, you'd like me to start?
Muhannad, you might be better play.
Sure. On the flash appeal, first of all, you have to understand again that we are at the beginning of a crisis. So we have our teams all over trying to gather as much as information, but also to verify that information. Right now, we have flash reports which are not covering the whole country, but we're hoping with the next 24 hours, our flash reports will cover the whole of Syria. But now it's a bit difficult. After that, we're moving into a flash appeal that, of course, we're talking about the whole of Syria here. So Syria is one country, we're approaching it. But as far as I know, the flash appeal for Syria and Turkey are they're two separate countries. That's as far as I know. And I haven't heard anything about having a joint flash appeal between both. So my colleague El-Mostafa and myself will be focusing on the flash appeal for Syria. On the donor pledging conference, what we know is we still have the senior official meeting, which will be held late March, and then the Brussels conference. I think those are dates that have been discussed tentatively. We haven't heard that those dates will be changed, nor that will be any special conference to respond to the crisis of the earthquake. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. We have a flash appeal coming soon, and that's for all Syria. And it addresses the immediate needs and the humanitarian needs attached to this specific after earthquake challenges. But I think that because of this, the crisis will get a little bit deeper and heavier in all of Syria, and we might need to look again in a couple of months or 3 months at our humanitarian response plan and include the new aspects that are brought up by this crisis, and also the early recovery that is needed. If we had recovered the capacities that we had, if we had done it properly ahead, we would be in a better position now to face what happened a couple of days ago. That's very important, and we should not forget it.
Just to add to make one clarification, of course, the Brussels conference is not a UN pledging conference. It's not a UN pledging conference. So the UN is not arranging any pledging conference. It's the member states who are pledging that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kristen Salumi from Al Jazeera. A couple points of clarification, if I could, a couple quick questions. On the cross-border, you said, on the cross-line, you said there were 9 convoys cross-line in the last 7 to 8 months. Cross-border, this is there are daily passages, is that correct? Would I be accurate in saying that convoys go through there daily, normally? And then when you talk about the 2 WHO planes that are trying to get in, would they land directly in the Northwest? Is that the issue that you're negotiating, or would those planes land in Damascus and then be delivered? Is that what is being worked out? Do you have any clarity on that? And then also, just so I understand correctly, you were giving the example of I think it was just one town where you were talking about 20,000 homes that had been impacted and the rough calculation you were doing. Can you just clarify that is what region that was or what town that was? And do you have any numbers for the grand scheme of things, for the entire country? Thanks.
Yes. Okay, I'll take those if you don't mind. Okay, for yes, definitely the cross-border, was the kind of the normal way of getting assistance to the Northwest. And we tried after the Security Council decisions, and we brought it to 10. We had 10 cross-line convoys up to recently before the crisis, and we are planning these days for the 11th and 12th. That's the cross line. But when we are
Per month or
when I
per
was talking
day?
about, again,
Per month or per day?
I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was cross-line, okay. I thought, but for cross-border, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm talking about cross line. Then there was a question about the two planes. When we are talking about assisting the people of Syria who are suffering from this earthquake, we're not talking about northwest and north-south and southwest and everything. We're talking about all of them. The planes I mentioned before are the planes that will come here to Damascus, and we will get the support to wherever it is, and that's where we need. I can say that from this side we're getting the facilitation, but we need all the actors to first put the people first and facilitate the access. We cannot let the situation prevent us from providing the support where it's needed. The last question, it's about the 20,000 and 100,000. 20,000 units where people live, and 100,000 is an estimate. That's only for Aleppo. And the team yesterday went to Ladiqiyah, I think, or this afternoon went to Ladiqiyah for a fast and quick assessment. But we have the UNDAC team that is coming to do a much more professional and deep assessment of the needs. And they will visit all the areas, and they're here, and I hope we can find a way of, wherever they come from, north or south, we need to have access to see the real magnitude of the disaster. And we need your help to really bring this to the attention of all the people, to facilitate it. Those with influence should help us facilitate this. And I'm quite optimistic, or I tend to be optimistic, and hopefully my optimism will not fail me, that it will happen.
Just to follow up then, to clarify on the cross-border, those are normally daily deliveries. Pre-earthquake, it was daily that deliveries were coming across the border?
They could be daily deliveries, yes. Some days we would have, but on average, I think on certain months we reached about 500-600 trucks. It depends on the month. Sometimes there could be a week with 7 convoys. There could be a week with less, more. It depends. It depends on so many things. But the answer is it's much more than the cross line.
Thank you.
I just had a really quick follow-up on Kristen's question there. You've said a few times now, put the people first, facilitate the access, calling on those with influence to help facilitate the access. What do you mean by that? Who has influence on whom, and who is not allowing access?
I can answer that, Mustafa, if you like. We're here working for the best interest of the people. We don't believe our role is to start pointing finger at which party is blocking us. Our job is to keep engaging with different authorities to make sure that we have all the required facilities, approvals to reach the people. The political support we're asking is for those who have influence on the member states, on the parties who issue those facilitation, to make our job much more easier. But we're not in a position here to say this or that, because as I said, it's a very complex situation. It's a war zone, it's an active war zone. And our main objective and interest is the people, and making sure that we reach them and staying away from the politics. Thank you.
We are taking a few questions online before taking the last questions here in the room. Abdel Hamid, please go ahead with your question.
Thank you so much. My name is Abdul Hamid Sayam from the Arabic daily Al-Quds Al-Arabi. And many of my questions I had been asked already about, especially the sanctions. But my question about the aid that going to Turkey. And the airport at Gaziantep is operational now, and many of the flights carrying humanitarian aid is landing in Gaziantep. Would that be split or be divided between both the affected area in northern Syria and southeastern Turkey, or that is going to Turkey only? Thank you.
Usually donations and especially flights, they come earmarked. So the donors, when they send them for the specific country. So there is no split here. There are no percentages. If the aid is coming for Northwest Syria, it will go there. If it's going for Turkey, it will go there. But we can't speak on behalf of Turkey.
But I heard many countries said we're sending aids to both the Turkish people and the Syrian.
Yeah, but they send it already knowing which aid is going to whom. I mean, it's not us. We don't prioritize needs. So that's not our job. Aids, when cargo it comes with a bill of lading, airway bill clear with a clear consignee. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibtisam.
Thank you. My name is Ibtisam Azim from Al Arab Al Jadid newspaper. I have a few follow-ups. So just to clarify what you said about the aid you are delivering through Bab Al Hawa, do you believe that you have that it is enough in the sense, or do you need other cross-border points to be open to help you in your operation? And then to clarify also something you said about the cross-line and cross-border, do you have an idea about the percentage of the aid you deliver through cross-line to North Syria? What percentage is through cross-line and what percentage? Like, is it 10% of the aid you deliver? And then my last question, you talked about the needs, the basic needs from food and shelter, etc. But there are also other basic needs like psychological support that people need, specifically the fact that they are in a war zone. Is there any psychological aid or anyone from your, whether the UN or other organization, who is providing this and trying to support people there? Thank you very much.
Mustafa, can I start on this?
Yeah, it starts on the cross-border.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Ibtisam. I just want to let you know, let me start with your last question. Of course, in the case of the crisis, usually what humanitarians look first is at search and rescue. Then you have the medical support. Then you have, of course, the shelter, sanitation, food, water, and then the psychosocial support and the protection, which is a cross-cutting issue through all of them. This is when it comes to the earthquake. Before that, of course, we had all of those supports, adding to that education, gender-based violence, all the protection issues. So those systems are in place that were addressing the needs of the 4 million people as needed in northwest of Syria. On the additional crossing points, it goes back to what both Mustafa and myself were saying earlier. We both look at cross-border, cross-line as complementary. And if we're given another one or two crossing points, we will definitely take that. At the end of the day, we are in the business of saving lives. So we ask for what we want and we do with what we get. If they give us one crossing point, we will do our best to save lives with that. But we would like to have more flexibility to do more. On the breakdown between cross-border and cross-line, of course, most of the aid comes through cross-border, not through cross-line. And that's why Al-Mustafa and of course myself, are both trying to increase the cross-line to a level where we can reach more people. We hope we can get to a stage where cross-line and cross-border can be decided on efficiency and effectiveness. Thank you.
Mr. Benlamlih, would you like to add anything? No, so we have one more question online. Yvonne?
Can I follow up very quickly? There were also some reports, and I don't know if you can confirm that, about the possibility that through the earthquake and the chaos that comes with it, that maybe some families and children are separated from their families. To which extent you try to follow up on that and try to make sure that these children are safe? And thank you.
course, this is a priority. The protection issues are priorities. The women and the children are priorities. The humanitarian agencies, they all work, right now they're busy, as I said, with the search and rescue, but there are other specialized agencies, NGOs, including the Syrian NGOs, who are looking into this. It's difficult, it's hard, it's challenging. It's a life-saving situation there. As you can see, people are fighting with time to save lives of people. So I can assure you that everybody, Ibtisam, is trying his best. Thank you.
Thank you. Yvonne, please.
Yeah, may I add something to this one? As I was talking to colleagues who are right there in the hubs in Halab and other places, and they mentioned this point where we have to be careful. I mean, those areas where the people are crowded, we are also looking at the issues of protection. The area, that's our normal work. If there are children who are separated from families, we are also working on that. We are trying to avoid, to prevent all those things from happening. The psychological support, it's a traumatic kids and also support is part of our work. Our people are working already on this, particularly in the cases where kids are still under a lot of stress from what's happening before the earthquake, and now add to it the earthquake. Yes, we are looking at that. And XL and XB, we're not talking about now numbers. Yes, we were very small, but now we're talking about how can we help how can we get access to those who need help. Full stop. We'll talk about figures later. That's our need.
I just have to say that I have a hard stop exactly in 2 minutes. I don't know about Al-Mustafa, but in 2 minutes I have to leave. So over to you.
Thank you. So Yvonne, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for this briefing, Yvonne Murray from RTE. It's actually just a point of clarification. Did I understand correctly that there are supply trucks waiting at the border full of supplies that can't yet get across? And did you say that those supplies will deplete fairly soon?
What we said is we have trucks ready to cross. We haven't, the logistics operation of preparing for the convoys didn't stop. We have a transshipment at the transshipment hub. The loading is ongoing. So we're just waiting for our trucks to be able to make it to the final point, to the border and cross. But there are trucks that have to come from the other side. It's a back-to-back logistics complex operation. That's what we're saying. We just need both trucks to arrive.
How long have you got before those supplies deplete?
I'm not sure how much stocks we have, but I can tell you that those are non-food items. I'm not sure what exactly the trucks are loaded with, but to the best of my recollection, and I'll have to verify this, I think they're non-food items that are waiting there. I know that the World Food Programme have before the earthquake pre-positioned food there, so they have some food supplies. The ones that we're hoping to cross with are non-food items.
That's actually the case, and it applies to the World Food Programme also with all pre-positioned supplies, and that's where I was mentioning it's enough supplies for 100,000 people for 1 week. So I don't know whether that number includes the supplies that are on the side of the cross-border of Gaziantep, but I think that's the supplies from Sarmada.
Thank you very much. I believe that Mr. Hadi has to leave. He ran out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today. Perhaps Mr. Benlamlih could get one more question from the room, and I think that we finished after that.
Thank you so much for this briefing and for your time. Chris Reyes with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Just a summary question. If we can just zero in on your most immediate challenges for the next few days of the mission, which I imagine is a very critical time period, can you define 1 or 2 big specific hurdles that's hampering you from taking action right now? And what's the specific ask from the international community just for the next few days?
For the next few days, we are still struggling with the search and rescue equipment. We we need more in terms of food and medical, and we're getting some now through WHO, but we will definitely need more. We need more people to support the teams that are working in there. And in fact, what I'm talking about here includes also some of the support that is coming from the international NGOs and national NGOs. We work with them very closely. They also need support. They need help. We need for the cold, the winter necessities. That is needed. These are the one. The hurdles we have. If I talk about the area under government control, we don't have an access problem in terms of authorizations, but we have an access problem in terms of the capacity of the infrastructure to authorize, to enable us to do it. I mean, this means we might have to repair a few roads here and there. And we're not the only one. The government is also working on that, but we are in a situation where it was already difficult to do that before, and now we are in a situation where we don't have any other option than doing it. And the second one is the fuel. Luckily we had some stock that was prepared because we are suffering with this, so we had formed some stock of fuel that this time it will again vanish very quickly, be depleted very quickly. We will need all the support to import it. Let me add something. I had a meeting, we had an HCT meeting this morning, and the representatives of national NGOs were there, and the international NGOs were there, and all of them said that they need help and support and funding. Please help them, support them, and fund them. The second point is the national NGO said the people of Syria who need help just lost the opportunity of getting that help because we had promises, and people are calling us, diaspora and other people, to say, we want to help you. How do we get the money for you? They cannot get the money transferred here in Syria. They can't. I think you understand why.
Thank you very much. I don't think we have any further questions. Mr. Benlamlih, thank you so much for your precious time and best wishes with your critical work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. Have a great day.
For all your questions, and rely on you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks.